Evening. Would you please stand with me as we honor our nation with the playing of the national anthem? You may be seated. Good evening. My name is Carla Warren, and I serve as the coordinator for the West Virginia Teacher of the Year program. Welcome to a celebration of excellence in education as we honor our county winners and our finalists for the 2022 West Virginia Teacher of the Year and the 2022 West Virginia Service Personnel of the Year. It is my pleasure and honor to join you as we recognize and celebrate all of our county teachers and school service personnel of the year virtually throughout the evening, while bringing together our finalists for both the 2022 West Virginia Teacher of the Year and School Service Personnel of the Year. This evening, we are joined by several special guests. President of the West Virginia Board of Education, Mr. Miller Hall, the 32nd State Superintendent of Schools, W. Clayton Burch, and our distinguished members of the State Board. At this time, please direct your attention to the video screen as we welcome the Governor of the great state of West Virginia, Governor Jim C. Justice II, to bring a word of congratulations. These remarks will be followed by the first of two presentations of our county winners. The second set will be shown after President Hall's remarks.
Hello, everyone. I'm Governor Jim Justice. Now, I hate like crazy we can't be together in person right now, but so we've done this virtually, and it's getting old, to tell you the truth. We all know that. But we got to be the safest we can possibly be, and there'll be a time soon. We'll get through this. We've been battling like crazy, but I promise you to my soul, we're going to get through this, and we're going to celebrate beyond belief. Tonight, we're recognizing 10 great finalists for the Teacher of the Year. And I'm not going to tell you who's winning yet, but I absolutely want to congratulate all those. I thank you for all you do, each and every day. And I know you know this, but students look to you as their heroes in lots and lots of ways. Students look to you as someone that they really trust and that they absolutely believe in. Not only do you educate, but I know of all the different things that you do. You absolutely have so many tasks you do, and yet every day you come, every day you stand up, and absolutely we can never thank you enough. So congratulations to all the finalists, and it's just an incredible night, and I just hate like crazy that I can't be there, but again, great work. I know you'll represent so well in the National Teacher of the Year, whomever is selected. So keep doing the great work. And again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. So before we go any further, let me congratulate the 10 finalists, are those folks that are in the running for the School Service Personnel of the Year Award. Again, we don't want to forget anybody, do we? These great people, whether they be aides or bus drivers or cooks or custodians or maintenance workers or office workers or on, and I didn't want to forget anybody. Absolutely, you carry the load. You carry the load so often. You come every day. Absolutely, you take care of our kids, and absolutely you clean our buildings, you transport our kids, you do so much, and you don't want to ever, ever, ever be forgotten. There's no way that that's going to happen on my watch. So I congratulate beyond belief. We have 10 finalists and everything, and 10 great people that do amazing work. But we don't want to ever forget all those that are out there on the front lines. You come, like I said, every day. You come with courage and a smile on your face, and you bring happiness and you bring education in your own ways to all of our children that need you so badly and everything. It's been a tough time. It's been a tough time for all. But again, what a night you're having, and absolutely I congratulate again all. So to my best to everyone in every way, God bless and thank you so much again and again.
Give a round of applause to all of our county winners for Service Personnel of the Year. Our next two speakers represent the leadership at the West Virginia Department of Education and the leadership for the West Virginia Board of Education. First, State Superintendent W. Clayton Burch has worked in both teaching and educational leadership positions for more than 25 years. His experience spans early childhood education to post-secondary administration. Assuming the role of State Superintendent of Schools as the COVID-19 pandemic hit West Virginia, he has worked closely with the State Board of Education, county superintendents, the governor's office, and state education partners to build mechanisms and processes to best serve the children in West Virginia during these unprecedented times. Secondly, President of the West Virginia Board of Education, Mr. Miller Hall, has been an advocate for children his entire life. As President of the State Board of Education, he remains passionate about the well-being of children and remains closely connected to former students and their families. His years as a school and county administrator have served him well as the President of the West Virginia Board of Education, giving him insight into the daily issues that affect teachers, staff, students, and families. In his words, if we always focus on what is right for children, we will always do the right thing. Please help me welcome Superintendent Clayton Burch to the podium.
Good evening. You know, every time I speak, they hand me these notes like they think I'm really going to use them. Christy, seriously, when are you going to learn? First of all, I can't see them. Dr. Warren, thank you. Several years ago, Dr. Warren joined us as she went through a transition as state agency here. And Carla has been just amazing. It doesn't matter the job she does, but I will tell you that since she's taken over the Teacher of the Year and helping us with the Service Personnel of the Year awards ceremony. I thought I've been here, our Deputy Superintendent and I we were just counting the other day that we've been here about 15 years at the department. And we've always respected this event and honored this event, but Dr. Warren has definitely taken it to a new level with the professionalism she brings. So Carla, thank you so much for what you do. So we are here to celebrate, and I think I made a mistake because I took time out for those of you that are watching streaming and family members. I took about a half hour out to meet with the Teacher of the Year finalist, and then I took about a half hour out to meet with the Service Personnel of the Year finalist, and you guys messed up my entire opening. This is no good. None of this works. I was going to talk about how hard it's been and how difficult it's been, and after spending an hour with you all are rock stars. I mean, you are absolutely superheroes. And I got to speak, Brian, you'll probably remember this, I got to speak at Cabell County's event, and I gave a speech on superheroes. In fact, there was a little boy in the audience, and I think he was the only one paying attention to me, because I talked about Spider-Man being my favorite superhero, and a little boy about halfway back in the audience gives me a, "Go Spidey, go!" And I'm like, all right, one person in the whole room's listening. In all sincerity, whether it be from here in Charleston, and many of you know that during the pandemic, we traveled out and we wanted to visit with the schools. And the one thing I asked the superintendents is when you bring me in, please, I'm not interested in doing a tour, and I'm not interested in the dog and pony show. I just want time to meet with your staff, and I want time to meet with the children. And that's the only thing I wanted to come and do. And we would go from school to school to school. And pretty soon, as those trips really began to snowball and people wanted me to come more and more and more, the team grew. And I think the important thing to know is it's really nice, by the way, each and every month to sit beside President Hall at our state board meetings, because I'm going to steal just a little bit of his thunder. I don't know that he would probably come up here and speak without probably somewhere in his speech mentioning team. And he will. You're always hearing talk about team. And the one thing that I really appreciated as I traveled around was this team. not just a Mineral County team, not just a Raleigh County team. It didn't matter where I went. There absolutely is a team that's much bigger than all of that. There's a team of these adults as we traveled around, and they all use the same words. And it was interesting tonight as I talked to the two different groups before tonight's event, and you used the similar words. No matter what, we're going to take care of kids. They're going to be first and foremost. You all talked about their social and mental health, each one of you. You talked about the importance of them being in school consistently with you and how worried you were when they weren't there. And I think as a state, sometimes we forget just how important our school system is to each and every, not just child, but family. First week on the job was in February of 2020. Pandemic hadn't quite hit yet. And if you would have heard me speak there, and I would have been in front of the state board, I would have talked about all the challenges West Virginia faces. Our opioid crisis. I would have talked about poverty level. I would have talked about the number of children continuing to increase in foster care, the number of children increasing in homeless, the number of referrals to our child protective services, the number of families that we have to ensure we continue to feed and take care of. And the pandemic hit like a week later. So I have yet to be able to do what I feel, I've seen my predecessors in the past do and as a state superintendent, because my entire state superintendency time has been under a pandemic. Entire time. And I talked earlier to the group, it feels like Groundhog Day. This is where things change though. Because even though I might feel like we get in a rut, it feels like we're just continuing to deal with how hard it is on our children, the things they missed out on, how worried you were that they stay in school. Speaking to each one of you before this started, I'm going to walk away tonight feeling better than I've felt in a while. Because I know the team is not an individual school. The team is not an individual county. We have a team of adults in this state that are teachers, they're service personnel. They are a team that is pretty darn strong and united around our children. If ever in the history of education, we have not valued the power that school places on our children and families, the power of what that central place, is in a student's well-being, in a family support structure. We better know it now. If at any time we didn't realize how powerful each one of you are in the daily lives of children, shame on anybody who doesn't understand and know how powerful that is now. Most of you heard me tell a story of my own children during the pandemic. I have 4 boys. And I said I might have made the biggest mistake I ever made as a parent. I allowed my youngest to stay in virtual school the entire school year last year. I allowed him as a parent to disconnect from the school. This child has every support you could possibly imagine. And yet, coming back to school in the fall of 2021 has been one of the hardest things he's ever done. He's not the same child that left in March of 2020, that school. He is disconnected completely. Socially and emotionally, all over the board. So anxious to go back to school. Like many of us, or at least me, probably put on a few pounds during the pandemic. Is Mr. Dunlovey in here? Yeah, I got a couple suits that aren't fitting either, buddy. And here's a child in my home that suffered. And I knew when he went back to school, it didn't matter how much I was there to support him. I knew who was going to make the biggest difference to get him back on track. It was going to be his teachers. It was going to be that adult in the school, whether it be a service personnel, a teacher, somebody that would put their arm around him and say, it's okay, because that's exactly what each one of our children need now. And I think each one of you represent that one caring adult that the board, the department, we hope that each one of these children have. And listening to each of you tonight talk about how important it was for them to be near you, be with you, it is a sense of relief being in this position to know we have so many adults that care for our children. Now, you also got to hear me talk about a little bit of a story about Mrs. Dite. If you don't know who Mrs. Dite is, and if she happens to be watching streaming, she needs to shut this off right now. Mrs. Dite was by far my favorite teacher. She was my kindergarten teacher. She was the most beautiful woman in the world at 5 years old. Right, Carla? 5 years old, you know how that goes. She was beautiful. I loved her. Like, I couldn't wait for my turn to be able to sit beside her at lunch, because that was a big day. And I say all that because I remember the things from her class, and that's the impact she made on me so many years ago. And if I would have told Miss Dite while we were having lunch one day, this crazy story of what you as teachers and service personnel and children were going to deal with, she would have sat there fascinated. If I told her that, you know, back in the 70s, that Miss Dite, do you know that in 30 or 40 years, there's going to be a group of children in the state and in the world that will wear masks when they go to school? There'll be a worldwide pandemic, and there will be kids contact traced, and there will be kids in quarantine, sometimes in school, sometimes out of school. Sometimes they'll have to make choices of whether or not they're going to be virtual or remote or come, and they feel safe waiting on a vaccine. The best part would have been to tell her that these families on Saturday nights were going to stay up on a Saturday evening and wait for this map to come out. And whatever color the map is, they may or may not go to school. She would have looked at me and said, Clayton, you need to write that down. What a great story. You'll probably make a lot of money as an author if you'd write and get that story captured. What a great piece of science fiction. Y'all live it. You live it each and every day. And it's amazing, as you all talked this evening, about how you went, we'll continue living it. We'll do whatever it takes to take care of our children. The Teacher of the Year event, it is, like I said earlier, very special to us. This event has actually been going on in the state of West Virginia. I believe, Carla, if I'm not mistaken, we are one of the longest running Teacher of the Year programs in the entire nation since 1964. We definitely acknowledge your contribution to the field, but I think this year is very special. I think your contribution to the families and children of the state is what needs to be recognized. Same with our Service Personnel of the Year. It's a little more recent. It makes me very, very proud to see this event and the Teacher of the Year event come together to recognize all that take care of our children each and every day. Congratulations to each one of you as finalists. To the Teacher of the Year finalists, your commitment to your field is just, it is amazing. Each of you have a story. Each of you have a narrative, and that narrative will be played for generations to come. The children that you have will tell your story for generations. Maybe, just maybe, one of you will be that child's Mrs. Dite. Just saying. Brian, wait, you're in middle school, never mind. The power you have is actually very, very, it is awesome to think about how you'll impact generations to come. To our Service Personnel Year winners, the pandemic's been just as hard. It does not matter which sector you work in. Some of you here tonight are from central offices, from front offices, from transportation, from cafeterias, custodial. I'm sure I left one out. Federal programs. And each one of you also have that narrative of the power that you feel that you're making on not only your school system, but each and every one of those families and children. Dedication it takes to do what you do is, I think, unlike what most realize. We need more to follow your steps. We need young people to think about taking on where you'll leave off. We have gaps in the system. We know we need more teachers. We need more bus drivers. We need more cooks. We need more people that want to be with our children in our school system. And I hope events like this show those young people just how much of an impact you make on their lives. Congratulations again to each and every one of you. Incredible, incredible night. we look forward to recognizing and honoring each of you. At this time, I would like to bring up President Miller Hall. For those of you that don't know Mr. Hall, we got a little bit of an introduction to him. He's from Raleigh County. I went, and he is one of those adults that went with our team to travel around the state. If you ever get a chance to go to Woodrow Wilson High School, I encourage you to go. But if you want to have a really good time going to Woodrow Wilson High School, take Miller Hall with you. I don't know how long it had been since he was the principal there, but I believe every single person I spoke to referred to you as coach, principal, and my favorite was, hey, you're a referee and you messed up my game. I'm kidding. It's amazing sitting by him each and every day. I know he's going to introduce some of our board members, and very, very fortunate that we have a state board that is as compassionate and caring of children. Definitely puts them first. With that, Mr. Hall.
Thank you, brother.
Absolutely.
Before I get started, I promise not to be long. I'd like to introduce part of our team, state board members, and they're just good people. Come from different parts of the state, and we all have bonded, and we break bread together. We just have a great time. And at this time, Robert Dunleavy, board member. Would you please stand, Mr. Dunleavy? Would you please stand? Dr. Stan Maynard. Scott Roadtruck. Dr. Wilson. We'll leave anybody out because some are absent. Okay. At this time, I'd like to say good evening to you. And we are, I'm saying we, not I, but we are so honored to be here tonight at the celebration of excellence in education. It's such a pleasure to speak directly to you because you are the spark and inspiration. You see, when I talk about spark, I've been in the game for a long, long time. I've been around kids all my life. That's all I know. Some of our kids need that spark. They really and truly do. And I listened to some of you this afternoon when you had your groups. You all have that spark that can help our young people to get where they need to go, because they need to be inspired. I'm an old man and I need that spark. I need somebody to inspire me. That's why I depend on my wife and my 2 daughters. When I need somebody to help me to make it through, that's who I call. And those young people, not as fortunate as I am, because they come from broken homes and whatever, but you are the spark and the inspiration. And that's why you're at tonight, because of that. You have to carry the torch. Help those young people to be able to become productive citizens in the state of West Virginia or outside the state of West Virginia. You are the ones who interact directly with students every day. I was a teacher. That was the greatest job I had, was a teacher, because I had an opportunity to build relationships that last a lifetime. Relationships. How do I know? I can see some of my former students right now, and they can say, thank you for trying to help me to make it through. Here's a picture of my family. And then I know I did something to help somebody along the way. And I know it's the same thing that holds true for you. It's not whether you're a service personnel or a teacher. We all come as one. We are a team of people trying to do the best we can to help our young people to get where they need to go. And that's what makes it so great about education. We all have to work together, because if you don't, you will not survive. They will not survive. You have challenges of your own. We all have the challenges. But you encourage and you empower those around you. You are the positive faces in their communities. And you all deserve the recognition and accolades of these awards, prestigious awards tonight. Because you are a pillar in the community, whether you realize it or not. You are. They respect you. You might not think they do, but they do. They respect you. You empower them to be able to help them. And I know right now, some of you right now, from the bus driver to the teacher to whatever it may be, they tell you that they care about what happens to you because you care about what happens to them. Let me tell you a little story. I'm not much of a storyteller, but when I was principal at Woodrow Wilson High School, you talk about school climate, you talk about positive atmosphere. You know who was my best person that helping me with school climate? Was my custodian. Because we all are somebody trying to help somebody along the way. When there was trouble, I called on him before even my assistants, because he knew the kids just as good as anybody else. And they looked up to him because he was somebody that they could relate to. So building relationships is very valuable. Throughout my 40 years of working in West Virginia schools, 40 long years of working in West Virginia schools. And I loved every year. And I didn't want to quit. I didn't want to retire, but the opportunity came to help the state of West Virginia. So I was blessed to move to the Department of Education. I don't know whether it's good, bad, or indifferent sometimes. I don't know. But you know what? I still get an opportunity. I still get an opportunity, and we still get an opportunity to help our young people, not just in Raleigh County, but across the state of West Virginia. That's the difference. We get a chance to impact what goes on in education, and you get excited about that. You should be excited about being here tonight. You should be excited because you got somebody out there that's depending on you to make it the next day. You got to be excited about it. I'm excited about being here tonight. You should be excited. You should be excited that you have an opportunity to go in and help our young people every single day, and sometimes even when school is not in session. How do I know? Because I lived it, and I still live it. The positive school environment do not just happen, but it takes hard work. It takes our service personnel. It takes our teachers. It takes everybody working together as a team, as one, to help our young people to get where they need to go. And when you stop believing it's a team, then you shouldn't be working. It's just like being in a relationship at home with your own kids. You take everybody to raise a child. I'm working with a 4-year-old right now, and yeah, boy, it's tough. Thank you for your dedication. Thank you for helping our young people to learn and to grow and to socialize. It's not always easy. It's not the easiest task. But you know what? There is no easy way out. We have to work together and work our way out. That's the only way we're going to get out. Thank you for your honor, your respect, and self-esteem to your position. Being a teacher, secretary, classroom aide, cafeteria worker, bus driver, or custodian. Your efforts have made a difference in the lives of our young people. That we all make a difference. They're first every single day. And I used to ride the buses sometimes with the bus driver early, 5:30 in the morning. We get on that bus. The first thing that child saw when they got on their bus was your bus operator. That's the first person they saw. The bus operator. And that made you smile, because that was the relationship, the first person they saw. So we are well aware of the impact teachers and service personnel have on students, especially when we look back at this past year. You all have had more than you can handle on your plates. But I heard someone say tonight, well, we're going to make it through. This young lady, where's she at? I think right here. She said, we're going to make it through. See, just hope. She said, we have a tough time. She said, I had to drive. I've been driving. I got 15, 16 people, whatever, that called in sick. I don't have but one sub and maybe 0 subs. But she stepped in and went above and beyond what's expected. You see, that's what teachers, that's what we all about. That's what we all have to do. And it's not easy. You have to be counselors, meal planners, responders, and much more. Roles you have played in the lives of our students exceed your job description. You can't have a job description now. Or you know what I should say? Everything is listed in my job description. Whatever you need me to do, I'm going to do it because it's for the best for our young people. The pandemic has proven that for us who have a passion to serve, and you have a passion, yes, you wouldn't be here. our jobs are never done. They're never done. I have no doubt that students, even your coworkers, will look back at some point and step up and say, hey, thank you for what you're doing for us. Thank you for helping us to learn. Thank you for putting some food on the table. Thank you for going in and driving the school buses and bringing food to our homes when we don't have a home, hardly. Some of our floors may be dirt floors. We don't get up breakfast every day when school is out. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for going places where they don't have Wi-Fi. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And thank you from the board members. They too want to say thank you. For those who are community winners virtually, if you're listening, I want you to know how we truly appreciate and respect everything you do for our students, family, and communities. Now, as we enter a new school year, our students still facing the same challenges: learning loss, social and emotional gaps, and a variety of other concerns. But we're going to make it through. As I close today, I want to say congratulations on an incredible achievement. Our students, our schools, and our state are better educated, better fed, and better prepared for their future because of you. It's not because of me, it's because of you. It's because of each school, the superintendent, with everybody working together to take a negative and turn it into a positive, just like the young lady said. There's a phrase I always use. You flip the coin, it's a negative then a positive. What you do, is take the negative and turn it inside out and make it positive. That's how you have to look at it, because if you don't, you go crazy. Be proud of what you have accomplished. You are the top two of your field. Raise the bar for others around you. You set an example of what a caring adult should be. You care about some of the parents don't even care about them. You know it as well as I do. Some of the parents don't even care about their own sons and daughters, but you do. Continue to inspire by modeling compassion, innovation, and enthusiasm. The greatest gift of all is the gift of enthusiasm. When I can't laugh and have a good time and get excited, then it's time for me to quit. Thank you for your dedication, unbelievable passion, your extraordinary love for the students of West Virginia. Thank you for what you did, and may God bless you.
As we prepare to honor our 10 finalists for the 2022 West Virginia Service Personnel of the Year, we want to take a moment to recognize the sponsors and partners who have contributed to making this a special evening for our service personnel nominees. Each of our county winners will receive a personalized plaque, certificate, and lapel pin, as well as a hand-blown piece of glass from the Blenko Glass Company. Our finalists, in addition, will receive a personalized plaque and certificate, a tumbler and glass ornament courtesy of the West Virginia School Service Personnel Association, and an iPad Pro for use in their county. The 2022 West Virginia School Service Personnel of the Year will receive a personalized plaque, certificate, and a banner to hang in their school, as well as $500 from the West Virginia School Service Personnel Association, $2,500 courtesy of the Horace Mann Insurance Company, and a 2-night stay at Chief Logan State Park courtesy of the West Virginia State Parks. Before we begin our presentation, we want to take just a moment to get to know our finalists a bit better. And we're going to get to know our Teacher of the Year finalists as well as our School Service Personnel finalists right now. When they came to Charleston in June, we had the opportunity to speak individually with our finalists. And so we asked the School Service Personnel to tell us how they connect with the students they serve. And the Teacher of the Year finalists were asked about their professional mission statement and how they influence the lives of their students. Let's view their responses now.
I am firstly worried about their safety, but my best effort is to speak to them often in short sentences as they get on and as they leave the bus. And over a period of 4 years or more with younger students, we make a good connection.
I like to think that it's easy to connect with the kids because I'm a familiar face. I've been with the majority of the high school students since they were in elementary school and kind of moved up as a substitute and then now as a full-time position at the high school. I promote them in athletics and their achievements, no matter how big or small in academics. I post all of their things on the social media and kind of have that connection as kind of a school mom.
Just be there like you were for your kids or your grandkids, or, you know, you'd want somebody to be there. Teachers the same way. Say they're having a rough day, you know, kids acting out, you know, had to send them to the office. That's stressful. Just be there to listen. Just be there to, you know, just be there.
I volunteer and am a big help with our church youth group. I've always been around kids. I love being around kids. I love helping with kids. I just felt that's where my calling is. So I love my job. I love my school, and I love what I do. So it's a pleasure to get up every morning and be able to go to work because I really love what I do, and I love seeing their faces and, you know, being right there for them.
Our students mean so much to me, to be able to see them smile every day, even during COVID and all of the craziness that entailed. To be able to see them every day and know that I'm making what little bit of difference I can. Sometimes just saying hi or giving them that smile every morning, telling them good morning, telling them to have a great afternoon when they leave. That means a lot to these kids.
My professional mission statement is to inspire and empower my students to be their best selves. All students, no matter who they are. Students in my classroom learn that making mistakes is how we grow and learn. They learn that their voices and their ideas matter, and they learn to speak up when they see things that need to be changed. They learn to respect people from all walks of life, no matter who they are. And they learn that they have a purpose and a mission in this life.
I give my students a solid foundation on which they can continue their music education. In my lessons, I incorporate mental health and social emotional learning issues in hopes that it will help provide students with the values and tools they need to attain lifelong success.
There's a saying in the National Park Service, to leave it better than you found it. And that perfectly sums up the way that I view my mission as an educator. I want to provide a safe and comfortable learning environment for my students, and I want to provide them with the tools they need to be successful in life. And specifically for West Virginia Studies, I want to teach them to have a love and appreciation of how wonderful the state is that we are able to live in.
My mission with my students is to prepare lifelong learners that are responsible citizens. The way that I do this in my classroom and how I influence my students is by setting high expectations and then being a partner with my students in their learning process. And then the fun part is celebrating their successes at the end.
I strive to provide my students a safe and welcoming space where they can learn about artists and cultures from around the world. I want them to learn that it's okay to take risks and how to use art to express themselves creatively.
As a high school math teacher, my main goal is to reach all my students, not just the students at the top. I strive to push each of my students to maximize their individual potential. To do that, first I have to build relationships with them. They have to believe in me, the person, before they're going to believe in the curriculum itself.
I've always heard that a memory lasts a lifetime, and so that's what I want to do. I want to help my students create memories through their education that are going to help guide them through life. And so I want to break down the barrier of the four walls of the classroom and take the kids outside to experience their education.
My main goal is to create a classroom that is fun and that when the kids walk in there, they are free to relax, to be themselves. We have so many students that are being raised by their grandparents. They're coming from broken homes. And we have to choose our battles. We have to help our kids feel relaxed and safe. We have to give them the courage to speak their own voice, the encouragement to make good choices, and to be responsible.
My mission as an educator is to remain true to myself, create positive relationships with my parents, and remember that each child has a unique ability to grow and learn. I meet children exactly where they are and move them along from there. As a pre-K teacher, I get to transition families and students into the public school system for the very first time, which is pretty cool. I get to bring them into a welcoming, nurturing, and loving environment where they can grow and learn from myself and their peers.
Each day, I come into school with a clean slate and the goal to teach and learn something new. I enjoy fostering a student-led classroom to model and create a safe, empowering environment where students can make choices and be themselves. Technology is integrated into every unit I teach to give students new tools and skills.
We are the beginning of their school day. Our positive influence goes over into their school time. It's easy to be kind. It's easy to give them a smile and say good morning, to carry that positive over into the class.
I connect with my students by showing them love and kindness from my heart. As a school cook, my time with students is limited. So I make every moment count by greeting them and saying good morning and always telling them to have a nice day.
I like to be honest with my students. I like to, I'm one of the first ones they see in the morning and the last one they see when they go home. I want to see how their day's going, that kind of thing, and tell them good afternoon, have a good evening, that kind of thing when they get off.
I really feel as though I influence students both academically for my job, but also morally and ethically with what I do outside of my job. I've been involved with Mothers Against Drunk Driving, organ donation. My daughter was a donor, and it's just become a complete service to the students of Ohio County and for our children and their children and for the next generations to come.
When you encourage a student to make the good decision, you want to listen and gain their trust before you put any input into their situation, because sometimes all they need is a listening ear.
At this time, I'd like to invite Superintendent Burch and the state board members to come to the stage, as well as Deputy Superintendent Michelle Blatt, Assistant Superintendent Dr. Jan Barth, and Teaching and Learning Officer, Dr. Sonia White, to assist. We are now ready to honor our 10 finalists for the 2022 West Virginia Service Personnel of the Year. You are, sir. Very politely. So our service personnel will stand and line up with Ms. Jody, and we will have you come across the stage one by one. You will receive your plaque from Superintendent Burch and have an opportunity to greet the state board members. And at the other end, you will receive your sponsor gift bag from our sponsors that we mentioned. That's a personal choice. Yes. Okay, representing Cabell County, Shelby Klingler. Representing Jefferson County, Heather Pendell. Our finalists from Marshall County, Julia Clayton. From Monroe County, Mr. Alan Spangler. Our Morgan County finalist, Holly Palmer. From Ohio County, Jody Miller. Representing Pocahontas County, Donald McNeil. Our finalist from Ritchie County, Angela Trammell. From Wayne County, Catherine Miller. And from Wood County, Deidre Burdette. No, you're going to need those chairs, guys. But before the announcement of the 2022 West Virginia Service Personnel of the Year, we're going to take a few moments to hear some words of farewell from the reigning School Service Personnel of the Year winner, Ms. Susie Kirkpatrick from 2021. So please join in watching her farewell.
Yeah, whenever I first started, I wasn't real sure, you know, this is what I would want to do. I thought, well, but you know, once I started driving the bus, it was just like, hey, this is me. As a bus driver, I don't know. I think that was my calling. I think this is where actually God has put me here for a reason, because I mean, yeah, anyone can get on a bus and drive it down the road and pick kids up and drop kids off. But I think you have to be a caring kind of person. You have to have a passionate for this job. Not just the bus driver, but the cooks, the janitors, the secretaries. They're all here in Gilmer County. They're all here for the kids. And I truly believe that's what makes us kind of special here. Being service personnel, you've got to like kids. You got to be here for the kids, because I believe that's what it's all about. It's not just a job. This is the best job I think anybody could ever have. I have truly been honored this year to have been selected as the Service Personnel of the Year. I have enjoyed this so much. The county has stood behind me. It's been fun. We've had a good time with it, and I'm just so honored and blessed to be part of Gilmer County.
Okay, now the moment we've all been waiting for. In this envelope is the name of the Service Personnel of the Year for 2022. So, Superintendent Burch, I'll let you decide how you're going to do this.
Okay, I went out into the lobby to make sure there were no children around, because I would have definitely brought a child in to do this with me. But since there's no children here, Michelle, I want everybody, this is Michelle Blatt. This is our state deputy superintendent. During the pandemic, she has been my absolute rock going through the pandemic. She started just a couple months after I did, and as I said about the board members being wonderful, wonderful partners and a team. Michelle is a past principal, and she absolutely values this award as much as anybody in this room. And so when they told me I could open this and announce it, I thought, I could. I'll open it at least.
Okay.
Well, this person's not even here. That doesn't even match. Does that mean I get it?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Our 2022 West Virginia Service Personnel of the Year is Kathy Miller from Wayne County. Come on up, Kathy.
I did offer, by the way, and I might have forgot to tell the service personnel, but I said, if you ever want me to come visit, I will come visit. She didn't wait for the offer. She's like, you're going to come save me, right? So a couple things. First of all, I was afraid to call you Kathy, so it was Catherine. I don't know. So you got a lot of plaques. And Carla,
Here's an extra little bag of. Here, you would want to keep this too. Come to the microphone.
I just want to say thank you for everybody that's ever helped me and give me this accomplishment. Like I said earlier, I love my job. I love the kids. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. Just thank you.
You know, the days get long sometimes at the Department of Education, and this is what makes it all worth it. This is such a fun event, and I begged Superintendent Burch to let us have it in person with a smaller number of people because this is what it's all about. And most of all of us have been in the classroom for many years at some point, and I get teary-eyed when I think about my years in the classroom and how much this means to me as an educator. So I'm just really happy right now. Now we're going to do it all over again with our Teacher of the Year nominees. So as we prepare to honor our 10 finalists for the 2022 West Virginia Teacher of the Year, we want to take a moment to recognize our sponsors and our partners who have contributed to making this a special evening for our Teachers of the Year. Each of our county winners will be receiving a personalized plaque, certificate, and lapel pin, a hand-blown piece of glass from the Blinko Glass Company, a $300 classroom grant from the West Virginia Lottery. In addition, our finalists will receive a personalized plaque and certificate, a $300 Donor's Choice grant to be used for a classroom or school project from the Horace Mann Insurance Company, and an iPad Pro for their use as an educator. And in addition, the 2022 West Virginia Teacher of the Year will receive a personalized plaque, certificate, and banner to display. You're all dying to know who's back there with the banner, aren't you? $500 courtesy of AFT West Virginia, a $1,000 grant to the school from the West Virginia Education Association Foundation, $5,000 courtesy of the Horace Mann Insurance Company, $5,000 courtesy of Highmark, West Virginia, and a Toyota vehicle to drive around the state of West Virginia during their time as the West Virginia Teacher of the Year. We are now ready to honor our 2022 finalists for West Virginia Teacher of the Year. So if you'll stand and we'll get ready, we'd have everyone come back to the stage. Okay, representing Cabell County, Brian Casto. Fayette County, Kennedy Moore. Representing Logan County, Kelly Bryant. Representing Mineral County is Samantha Coble, who is unable to be with us this evening. Samantha, we know you're watching, and Dr. Jan Barth is going to accept your plaque on your behalf. From Pendleton County, Christine Lambert. Representing Preston County, Claire Jones. From Putnam County, Beth Nunley. Representing Randolph County, Lindsay Stell. From Webster County, Kim Tenney. And representing Wetzel County, Craig Mason. You may speak, you may sit down. For just a moment, you're gonna come back up in just a moment.
Miller's getting steps into that.
I know. So before the announcement of the 2022 West Virginia Teacher of the Year, we will now hear a few words of farewell from someone who I have had the pleasure of getting to know well this past year, Miss Erin Anderson, the 2021 West Virginia Teacher of the Year.
Okay, so first question is, for all of you, tell us about Mrs. Anderson. Like, what makes her so amazing?
I feel like Miss Anderson is a very kind teacher and has a connection with the students like no other teacher because, well, she knows that we've been through the pandemic and knows how hard of a position we are in, especially with not being in school for a while. So it's really nice knowing that she's careful with us and helping us along the way.
There's a lot about her that is just incredible, and it's like been a really great year being able to work with her and like being her student, because honestly I've never had a bond like that with my teachers. She's just a really cool person, and I'm really grateful to have her as my teacher.
If I had to pick one reason why I think she was named Teacher of the Year, because she loves her kids with all of her heart, and that is evident every year. Sometimes she'll have really tough groups, and that's seen again this year. She has kids that need that extra love and support, and even though she's been busy with Teacher of the Year, her primary focus every day has been making sure that those kids get what they need to be successful.
I love my mom, and I like her here, and congratulations that you are Teacher of the Year, and good luck.
I hope that my students say that learning was meaningful and memorable and that we had lots of fun. I hope that the last thing that they remember was that I was West Virginia Teacher of the Year. I hope they remember that I cared about them and their families and their pets. There are many, many pets that they wanted to share on teams. I hope that they remember the way I made them feel. I hope they remember our family connection and just the community that we built in our classroom, whether we were, miles apart or within the same room, finally in the same room. I hope they know that they are complete rock stars. They survived 5th grade. one of the hardest years in the middle of a pandemic, and they rocked it. I screenshotted a devotion, one from my devotions a few months ago, and it said, "The story's not over. If you want to change something, you have to make a change. You have to do something different." And so, this was something different that I didn't know that I wanted or needed. This Teacher of the Year wasn't something that was on my list of things to check off. But this is a great beginning for me. This is a new start. Although my Teacher of the Year journey will be ending, it is not ending. I will forever be the 2021 West Virginia State Teacher of the Year. I'll forever be an educator, whether I'm in a 5th grade classroom or doing something else in this profession, meeting with teachers or students. However, this is just the beginning of something great.
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the announcement of the 2022 West Virginia Teacher of the Year, who will begin their reign on January 1 of 2022. So, Superintendent Burch.
Thank you, Carla. I know that for the 10 finalists, I know you have to say the polite thing, which was congratulations to the winner. But I'll tell you, we have 5 of our state board members here, and I know we're going to announce a winner, but they acknowledge each and every one of you as winners. To make the top 10 finalists is amazing. I know it's pretty rigorous to get through the county, just like the service personnel, and then go through the review process at the state. And just because we're streaming and I have the ability to delay this and drive you just a little bit batty. We also have, I just want to say that I introduced Michelle Blatt. I've introduced Carla Warren tonight. Wonderful, wonderful team. This is Jody, and I'm going to get the last name right, Olavito. Jody Olavito. We have 2 individuals in the back, Brooke Green, Robert Mellis. 2 sitting right here up front, Christina Holly. Christy Day, our Director of Communications. Our Assistant Superintendent, Jan Barth, there she is right up front. Our Senior Officer, where's Sandy? Sandy from Communications, sitting on the end, and Sonia White. Did I leave anybody out? Michael and Stuart are up there. They're the ones that keep putting the light in my eyes. Hello, guys. Is Jaden here too? Oh, Jamie's out front. I mean, Leah's here. We have a wonderful, wonderful team. And I know that each of them have really, they do look forward to this evening. The job's tough sometimes. The job's tough in your world. To have an evening like this actually does mean a lot to us as much as it does to you. And I think we heard President Hall say earlier that you all do have a spark. You absolutely have a spark. And I want to introduce you to somebody whose spark, I don't know how it happens, it just keeps getting brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter. And you remember those commercials of the Energizer Bunny? I'd like to introduce you to the original Energizer Bunny, Dr. Jan Barth. Jan is our Assistant State Superintendent. She's actually been with us 2 different times. You've done a stint at the Department of Education. In how many years in education total?
25.
25? And before that?
Worked in the bank and got out of there as quickly as I could.
I would have more questions, but I can already tell there was a couple of you right there going, are you serious? Like, come on. Right? Am I right? All right. So I'm going to let Dr. Barth introduce this year's Teacher of the Year. You ready?
Yes.
Can we change it?
No.
You sure?
I'm sure.
I mean, they don't know. They don't have a clue.
Are you going to put Clayton Burch down?
I was never that fortunate. Are you ready?
Yes, I am. And the West Virginia Teacher of the Year for 2021-22, Brian Casto. Thank you.
I got a bunch of stuff here.
Off the top of my head, I tried to think of whenever I won for County of the Year, we had to speak really quickly and didn't know what to say. So I thought, what would I want to say whenever that was happening? And I'm the result of a lot of people pouring into my life. I have loving parents that have always believed in me. Just family and church family have poured into my life. Like many of you here today, I've had amazing teachers that I still remember, like what happened in classes, Mr. Coburn and Mr. Elkins, and there's so many other teachers that impacted my life and made me want to have that impact on others. I work with amazing teachers that have made me a better teacher. Billy Williams, Jake Saul, so many other teachers, Laura Dilly and Jamie Keaton, just so many teachers that they make me look better because they're so good. And I'm fortunate to get to work with people like that. I have an amazing boss, Kurt Mann, who's also a great friend. And of course, I have my awesome wife, who always is my biggest cheerleader. She's always pushing me along, encouraging me that I can do all these different things that I try to do. And last but certainly not least, I thank the Lord for like giving me the blessing of being able to have this job, which we all know has been tough the last couple of years, but seeing all the things today and seeing my kids' teachers, man, there's some really good teachers out there, and I'm so happy that my kids get to experience that. Thank you.
I follow all of your schools on my social media accounts, and this afternoon as I was coming over, I popped up, and Milton Middle School popped up on my Facebook feed, and they gave Mr. Casto a goodbye parade as he left school today, and I chuckled to myself thinking, wait till he gets to school tomorrow. Thank you. Let's give our winners and our nominees one more hand. As Superintendent Burch said, it takes a village, it takes a team. So I appreciated the words that Superintendent Burch provided just a moment ago. So the communications office, multiple offices at the department come together to make an event like this happen. It certainly is not one person. So I personally want to say thank you to them. I thank you for coming this evening and supporting our educators. And we wish you a safe rest of the year, healthy rest of the year, and safe travels home. Thank you and have a good evening.